Let me see your eye blue, Heidi. Your eye blue. Mm.
All right, there you go.
That's the last time I checked.
The last time you checked, it wasn't, right? Wait, things are changed, boy.
I
Man, we got 1 minute to show time.
That's
yeah.
okay. He want to start the music, and we want to greet the people with a big smile and a happy face, and we and we gonna do this thing.
Yeah. Don't worry, we gotta make it work. Where there's
All
a
right.
will, there's a way. It happens.
I've been working hard to get this thing done, and I promise Phil I'll have it ready today. I can't disappoint.
Oh, and they're gonna be looking for it. It's
Hmm.
gonna be a disappointment.
Nah, man.
Yeah, it's been, but it still can happen on Will's show regardless.
Yeah.
But I just wanted it to be on
No, no,
this.
no. Yeah, work because here's what we're gonna do. We'll start with introduction, start the talking and blah blah blah, and then Miss Lerner said, well, let's go to a musical break. And once you go to a musical break, it means that we could be doing anything during that time.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Hmm.
still trying to get it to you while
Yeah, when
we
yeah,
with the show.
no problem at all. We'll get it done.
What is it? February.
Caribbean people. It's red up in Belizemix.com. Watch it. I wake up like this. You wake up like that. I wake up like this. You wake up like that. I wake up like this. You wake up like that. I wake up like this. You wake up like that. Watch it. Tell Queen Learner what's on your mind. Tell Will Johnson what's on your mind. It's redupinleesmix.com.
Good morning to each and every one of you. Thanking you so much for joining us here on Radio Belize Mix, Belize's #1 podcast radio. Coming to you live on this Saturday morning for the show called I Wake Up Like This with the host Queen Lerner, and we've got a very special guest in our studios. But till first, I'm going to introduce Lerner. Lerner is going to introduce our legendary guest. Good morning, Queen Lerner.
Hey, hey, hey. Good morning.
How are you
Good
this
morning.
morning?
I'm good.
You're
How
looking
are you?
good.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got a new attitude.
I'm hearing that echo.
Yeah, I'm on top of the world right now, and anything you say is already live, no hide. Okay? All right, so go ahead, Queen Lerner, introduce your guest, please.
All right, guys. All right. If we hear an echo, let us know. But right now, we have someone special. All right. When I say special, this man here has been around for a decade. He's a legendary, you guys. And I'm sure everyone should know about the one and only Mr. Michael Hyde. He is a music producer, a Grammy Award keyboardist, you guys. He's been around the world, all right? He have the answer today for some of you guys that been asking question about the music arena, all right? So we're going to get some answers from him today. We're going to dig deep. This is going to be black and white, and he better be ready because questions is going to come at you because these guys are desperate for answers, all right? He's a composer, a producer, an engineer, an arranger, and my goodness, he was also on TV. He toured, I mean, many parts of the world. So he got the answer for us, guys. And only here on a Wake Up Like This, we're going to get down to business. And we want to thank our producer, Mr. Will Johnson, for having us here today. This is our first show for 2024.
24. Yep.
It's a Wake Up Like This. How you doing, Michael?
Not as good as you, but I'm doing great.
Why you say that? I'm sure you're doing very well.
I'm just messing with you.
I know, huh? That's all right. We're all doing well as best as we can with these times.
Hmm.
All right. So I want to welcome you to a Wake Up Like This, and we appreciate you take the time out because I know your schedule is tight. And as soon as he finished today, you guys, he's running. So right now, I want him to talk to the people. He's been around the world, you guys. His journey started at the age of 14. You understand? So it's too big for this 1 hour show. But we're gonna have him summarize a little bit about his journey so you guys could have an idea of where he came from. Mr. Hyde.
Well, it started back, way back.
Wait, wait.
And pretty much it's, I would say, from like primary school days when we were just kids trying to become musician, but imaginary musician.
Imaginary.
Yeah, we couldn't afford instruments. Uh, so what we did back those early days, in the humble beginnings, we had to take stuff and get creative, draw out stuff like keyboards. We had to take some like whatever we could find and just draw out the keys. Like there's a keyboard and there's no sound, of course, because it's just a, and then you just sing it out, the parts. And then we would take like paint cans that we use to painting and stuff.
That's
and
great.
flip that over and that becomes the drum set. And then you take the cover from the paint pan and that becomes cymbals, like cymbal crash.
Ooh, okay.
And then you would take some like piece of a branch of a tree and make that a microphone.
Microphone.
And take like a stick and put maybe like a little string or some line, clothesline or whatever, and make that the guitar. So we created a band out of imaginary instrument because there was no money to buy any. And then as I get older, I remember going around the city, Belize City, and people that was like maybe throwing out a guitar or something like that, I would ask them for that guitar. And there's no string on the guitar. So I would save up maybe like 15 cents back in the day, go to Augusta Kwan on Albert Street.
Augusta Kwan.
Go on Albert Street, buy like a 1 nylon string, put that on the guitar, and it's a 1-string guitar, and I have to learn songs on that 1 string. And I would play songs like dong dong ding dong ding 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 dong dong ding.
Hey.
And that's where it started. And then as I grew a little more and more into it, there was a guy by the name of Kenrick DeShield. He used to be the keyboard player with the band, The Vibrations. He was a pretty good teacher and a good piano player because he was playing in the band many years before I started. And one day I asked him to show me like some chords on the piano, but it looked so complicated to me. Like I don't even know how he figured out what notes and what keys to press. So he showed me a few chords, and he used to teach me like 1 song at a time. And he said, the following week, I have to come back and play that 1 song for him and let him, evaluate my progress. But the problem is, I was ready to play that song the next day because I couldn't wait a week. Like my computer, my brain was like a computer back then, and I was like ready to roll, but I had to wait a whole week. I went ahead and did that, and then I started to build my catalog that way. That took me to a band called the Roadrunners, and that's when I started playing with band. And then from that band, I went to Morgan and Impressions. That's the band that I officially actually start playing out like Happy Hour Club. Stuff. And then from Morgan, I used to hang around Harmonics. That eventually merged and became Bamiki Bandula. And pretty much from there, I got into the actual band Vibrations that the guy that taught me keyboards used to play with. He asked me to play with that band later on, years later. And then after Vibrations, Dickie Strong from Bamiki Bandula that started that whole merging of harmonics, and his concept come together and became Bamiki Bandula, which means children of the forest.
Children of the Forest.
Yeah, in Swahili. It's an African Nigerian word. And he asked me to join his band. And I told him I have to give my band 2 weeks notice. Because back in the day, you just don't leave a band. You have to give them enough time
That's not fair. It's just grabbing up all the good ones, right?
Right. So I started with Bamiki, and I used to average with Vibrations maybe like, I don't know, $300-400 on the weekend to play like Saturday, Sunday. But I went to Bamiki and went from $300-400 to $5 because Bamiki was just starting out. So we played at Central Park at Fountain by
Do you
Brody.
remember that, Will? Because you'll be around.
I think Will was back in.
I was in Belize. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened, Bamiki was playing in the park, and we had like some type of stuff for donation. And by the time they add up and count up all the numbers, we all got $5 a piece.
$5.
Yeah, for our first gig. And it started from that $5 and grew and became multiples. So those were my humble beginning in Belize.
Okay.
I used to hang around like Lord Rayburn with Junie Crawford, Nelson Fuller, Sam Hamilton, and all those bands. I used to go hang around Glenn Budd, Professionals. I was friends with all these musicians because I was like the new kid on the block, trying to get into the business.
The smart kid on the block, that everyone want to grab up because you're fresh in the music scene, right? My goodness. So anyway, guys, his journey is just so huge, and you see where it started, $5. So don't feel bad when you're just getting started in the music business or in the music world. If your pay is not what you wanted, you understand, you got to start somewhere. And he will tell you some more about his journey and working with different artists, different Belizean artists, and different American artists, and internationally. We're going to get there. So go ahead, Mr. Hyde.
So after the Belize scene in the country itself, we migrated to LA, to Los Angeles. And basically that's where my whole music world exploded and went to the next level. When I first got here, we were Bamiki Bandula, and we were playing in the local plum trees and the Belizean community, all the typical places you would play. And of course, that exhausts its options because there was just so much places in the Belize area that you could perform. So I started working with like Dylan the Sensations, Phil and Kenrick and Dell and Keith and those guys, and they were already doing like the Santa Barbaras and the Venturas and those areas that you step outside of your
outside the box. So that's more excited. Now you feel like you're going somewhere.
Yeah, because now you start playing for not just your Belizean, but you're playing for everybody else.
Okay.
And that's where you kind of like starting over. So in the Belize community, if you are at the top, the very top, in those communities, you start from the bottom up. It's like these people don't know who you are. They never heard of you. So you have to start from the bottom up, and you're going to be probably getting like $50 a gig back in those days. Even if you was making, I don't know, $200, $300, $400, $500.
$50 a gig, right? And the way the industry is right now, people are still getting $50 a gig. But I mean, there's so many musicians, so many artists, so many things around, and the pay is not as much as they would like it to be. Yeah. So by the time you split all that up, some people are getting $50, but that don't mean that you should quit what you're doing. You got to keep going to make bigger monies, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if if we can have a little music at this point, but we're gonna get back into um, Mr. Hyde journey, you guys. We got to take some time out to understand our people in the community, and he's been in the community. He's been away from the community because once I got to know him, he was away from us in the Belizean community. But I must tell you guys, he is back and he's willing to help. And he's been working throughout COVID. He's been having meetings with some of our professionals in the community. So I just want you guys to know that he is really in tune with what's happening with our culture, our entertainment, and our artists, because he had some of them in his studio. I'm going to ask this question so that we can give a producer a little bit more time before we get some music, you guys. So I want to give a shout out for everyone out there that's tuning in today. You guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are here with the legendary Mr. Michael Hyde on this thing called music, guys. There's a lot of questions. Um, in his studio, I want you to tell them a little bit about your studio because I want them to understand the difference between all the stuff that you're doing in your studio. You're the arrangers. Tell us the difference between these things. When an artist comes into your studio with their music and you are the producer, tell us what is your direction for them and how you go about just working with that particular artist.
There's different levels when it comes to the production.
Mm-hmm.
There's development artists sometimes that you develop into something that you're trying to create, and there's people that's already established, and you're just working with them, as in trying to get like a product to the market or whatever they're trying to achieve. Like in the case, in my situation, in my studio is like what you call not like a commercial, but it's more like a project studio where it's an in-house where I would work with people one-on-one. It's not like someone just come off the streets and just walk in, like in a commercial studio. So for me, it's like if I'm working with, like, say, example, like Michael Wagner, we would discuss the project, what he needs, or what he's trying to achieve, and then my job is to develop that concept to where it's marketable.
Okay.
All he does is come in and do his vocals, and then I would produce him while he's in the studio with me working. I would give him some directions, and my job is to get the best performance out of him, because now this is gonna go in the world
with your name on it.
Yeah, it's not like a demo anymore. If it was a demo concept, no, it has to be something well done. So all the execution, the deliverance, everything has to be on a certain level. And that's where when I work one-on-one with an artist, I got to make sure that they're in tune, they're in pitch, they're in key. The way they deliver the lyrics, I would get a lyrics sheet from them.
Okay.
To follow what they're saying. And if they pronounce certain words weird or funny, I can't understand, I would have them go back and correct that. So we can hear what they're saying. I'm acting like the public, the people that's going to buy that product. So I got to make sure I understand what he's saying, his pronunciation, his enunciation, whatever. And the pitch, the way he delivered the note is not flat, it's not sharp. And we would go back and do multiple takes. And then what I would do is like how Quincy Jones and those guys did with Michael Jackson. They would do multiple takes. And then what you do, you take those different takes, you take the best, and then you would make a comp. A comp is you take different words, different lines, different phrase, different takes, and then you put it on one track.
Okay.
And that's the vocal that you hear on the record. So that way, it's like if he didn't deliver a certain part this first time, it might happen the second time, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 10th. You never know. So my job is to go back and find each and then just make a comp. And then
Okay.
that comp is what we hear on the record.
Awesome. There's a lot that goes on there. So I'm glad that you explaining that portion of what goes on within a studio. Because
Mhm.
I've never been inside a studio trying to sing unless you guys want me in there. Yeah, I want you y'all want me in the studio. I can make a song, all right? And
No,
so
no.
why not? Look, one hit wonders. I could go in there and make a hit, all right? But this is what I want to clarify. I want to know what goes on when an artist said, "I want to go into the studio." They write their song, they write their own song, and then it goes into the studio. And so what he's explaining is very good because it's just more than you just coming in there with a song. He is making sure, or they are making sure, that the music is what they want to hear out there, that we want to hear as audience out there. So it's a whole training process that they are getting out of this. So this is really, really good. But another question that the artists they have is basically, once an artist goes into your studio and you guys are the producer of such music, you understand? Do you guys, besides directing them how this music should sound and when it's produced and all that, do you guys give them an idea of where the music is shoppable? Or can you guys direct them into the market of things? Especially, this is new artists coming into your studio. Do you guys give them that direction, or you guys just let them be like, okay, I'm done with you, bye?
No, this is the thing. With every artist that I ever work with,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't leave them hanging. In other words, it's not just, oh, doing that job, got paid, and see you later. I
Right.
always offer distribution um, information. Each of my clients that I ever work with, I always try to give them more than just what they came and what they paid for. So that way they have a medium to release that music to the world. Because having a product doesn't mean anything. You have to have an outlet to so the world could hear what that project is about, right? So basically, back in the conventional way, it was like you have to go to the record company, and the record company would go through the contract, sign you or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would do all the work and getting the package ready, go through all the process, send the record out to mastering. After mastering, it goes to the distribution. I mean, not the distribution, the places that does the pressing,
The
like
press.
you're
Mm-hmm.
doing vinyl or you're doing, like I said,
CD.
CDs or cassette. Then they would deal with all that, and
Okay.
then from that they would do the send it to the manufacturing that takes it in the packages, either CD or albums or 45. And
Okay.
that's what they put in the stores, like Tower Records back in the day, Virgin Records, or whatever the record store. That was the conventional way. But that was an expensive process. And most people don't really have the budget independently to go through that process. So
Okay.
with the modern times, which is on all of our side right now, we can start something, and by the end of the day we could send that out to the world. And that's where I would normally give my clients some type of information about a distribution outlet that they can use, like a DistroKid or TuneCore, or well, some most people use CD Baby, but that was like the early ones. But there's a uh,
Not more, yes.
whole list of new companies that doing that same thing. But that's where the independent artists now can get their song released to the world,
Okay.
and they have the same um, link to all the Apple Music and the Spotify and all these different medium that you listen, that the audience would go and purchase or listen, but the distribution company is the one that gets it to these company, and then they're the one that deals with the company, and then they would basically deal with you, and they would cut you a check when your royalty statement is due, like every week or every month, depending on
Right.
the versus when a label did it, it was you get it quarterly, like every 3 months or every things like that. But with these new medium, you get it much faster,
Right.
and there's no middleman where, oh, you have to go through this manager or through this person or through that person. No, it's like between just you and the company.
Awesome. Any question for him on that subject, Producer Royal?
Now, pretty much straightforward. Everything he has been saying.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can add is what I have produced a couple artists before, and I try to make them as comfortable as possible. But yes, it is not just about somebody coming into your studio. I just got to echo what he says, and you get the job done, and you get paid, and you let them leave. You need quality and quantity at the same time. Both of them you need, and you also have to have that form of distribution, like he said. It's like, okay, now we get this done. What are we going to do with it? You just can't
Right.
just come with it. It's what are you going to do with it? So I just want to echo that. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to be playing some music, and I have something special after we get back from the music.
All right.
Play, 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 teachers play. Play, oh, play, play, boy, play. Lord, my drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Hey, now, you say drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. So, Mr. Play, 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 Peter's play. Play, boy, Petey, play, play, play. Lord, my drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Oh, Lord, you say drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Hey, drunk come married to Blackburn sweetheart. Hey, hey. Oh, Petey, Petey, boy, you're married already. Petey, Petey, boy, you're married already. You're in a your maker's arm, you gone already. You're in a your maker's arm, you gone already. You're in a your maker's arm, you gone already. Lord, you're in a your maker's arm, you gone already. Oh, Petey, Petey, boy, you gone already. Petey, Petey, boy, you gone already. Lord, you're in a your maker's arm, you gone already. Lord, say you in a your maker's arm, you gone already. Oh, you in a your maker's arm, you gone already. Lord, you in a your maker's arm, you gone already. So, Mr. Play, 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 Peter's play. Play, boy, Petey, play, play, play. Lord, my drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart. Drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart. You say drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart. Hey, Lord, drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart. Oh, Lord. So, Mr. Play, 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 Peter's play. Play, boy, Petey, play, play, play. Lord, my drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart. You say drunk come married to Blackbird sweetheart.
My good friend Marlon Alegria from Carbon Dynamics says, sending greetings to my music mentor, Mr. Michael Hyde. I had the blessings of playing alongside him and Junie Crawford in the beginning. He was one of the first Belizean keyboard players that was willing to pass down some good knowledge and keyboard skills. Also, we recorded our first professional album in the studio back in 2003. That's from Marlon Alegria. And one more thing I want to address right here is when Miss Proby, Elaine Proby says, the more success the artists have, more beneficial for the producer. For more reasons than one, in my case, the gratitude, how you feel that an artist you produce is successful. My goodness gracious. Back to you, Queen Lerna.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is what we're talking about today, you guys. We're talking about the good in our producer, you guys. We have several producers around the Los Angeles area, but today we are having our musical producer, Mr. Michael Hyde, and he's just taking it down step by step of how he is doing his thing in his producing world. And so we just wanted to know what is so different about you dealing with our artists than other producer. What make them would come to you? And the answer was right there. As you see what Marlon says and what Miss Proby says. And Miss Proby is going to be calling in because she has some straight questions for you. And we're going to give her that moment to call in about when, Mr. Johnson? About 5 minutes
Yeah,
or
in
so?
5 minutes time, yeah.
In about 5 minutes, Miss Proby, you're going to be calling in because I know you have some questions for Mr. Hyde. But Mr. Hyde, this is another question. When you're looking at your artist that comes into your studio, what do you consider as a well-rounded artist? When the artists come in, are you looking for that well-rounded artist, or are you looking for someone that is generally can adapt?
For me, I don't have no like specific thing about either. I work with someone that in the development stage. I work with artists intermediate. I work with artists on an advanced level, because you can't be picky about nothing, because every situation you learn from each project. There might be a guy who might not really have experience on the world stage, but that guy might have some fresh new ideas, or he might just be a very well talented person. And with that, you just want to guide them through the process, and then once they learn, they'll take that and become the established artists that we all hear about. And then you find the guy who might be advanced, might be well known, but they are a little bit more difficult to work with because they already know what they want. And not only that, they're a little bit more picky with how they want their stuff done. And the intermediate now is like it's flexibility. You could give them ideas, they might already have ideas, and you just merge it and you make a product. Like, for example, when I started off with Andy Palacio, Andy came to me in Belize. I was on one of my trips when I used to go to Belize back in the 90s and perform with Dylan the Sensation, and I didn't know who Andy was. Never heard of him. And at that time, the punta thing was started on the rise, because we were here in America working on a soca tune named Emily.
Emily.
And a lot of work and a lot of production. And we went to Belize only to find out that the new thing is punta rock. We know about punta, but we didn't know no punta rock. And we heard this is the new crave, and the whole young generation is behind it. So we had to drop a lot of stuff that we prepared in America and adapt
Quickly.
That's when Andy Palacio came to me, and he introduced himself and said, oh, he's Andy Palacio, and he's a school teacher, and he's from Barranco or some village, Hopkins or Barranco, wherever he comes from.
Barranco.
And I never really even, and there was like a guy, he wasn't no flashy fancy, so you couldn't even tell he's a singer or artist. And he gave me a cassette. And he said, this is his song. And then on the cassette, it had like, what, mama, And this was like way before anybody knew about Andy Palacio. And everybody
Michael,
Hey,
Michael,
Yes. Michael,
Michael. I was the keyboard player
what?
you
on
used
the
to play with
on the tracks for Andy. Yeah.
right. So when Andy brought these things to me, these songs, I knew nothing about the guy. But what happened? He was a humble guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was very
That makes a difference.
yeah, he was soft and he's very mannerly and everything. So I told him, I said, okay, no problem. I said, for me to work with you, you got to come to LA because that's where I live and that's where I do all my work. Because by that time I was producing like Calypso Rose. I was doing recording with Calypso Rose, the Smith Brothers, Cross Culture. I was working with a bunch of different artists. We were Papa Curly, a bunch of people. So when I told Andy that, Andy said, okay, in 6 months, Andy was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And
Determined.
he arrived in LA. And then once I realized he's serious is when he showed up. So he
Mm-hmm.
called and then we hooked up. And I took him to this guy named Glenton, which is on Vermont. He had a record shop named Glenton Records. And because at that time I was working with Glenton with Calypso Rose. So I knew Glenton because he was the executive producer of Calypso Rose's first album that I did.
Okay.
So I took Andy to Glenton, and that's how we got to record like "Nobody Body Bo."
Is he saying it right? Because I don't know what he says yet.
Right, but some of these songs. Then one name I think I can't remember, but it's talking about a Saturday night partying and
Right.
dancing and stuff. So those were the first songs. But with Andy, he was that humble guy that I consider the person that was hungry. He wanted this, and pretty much we hooked up and we made history. And with me, in those times, I was like just kind of busting out in the production world, and with Andy being the artist he was trying to become, we created something that was bigger than life that we didn't even know that in the future this is going to be something as big as it got. Andy got to the stage, as most of you guys know, where he became a world known artist. I was in the studio with Ziggy Marley. One time we went in to work with this guy named Taj Mahal, which is a guy from back in the 70s. And Taj Mahal, by that time, is a big person in the business. And I was in the studio with Ziggy and Taj Mahal. They were working on a song. And Ziggy told Taj Mahal that I'm from Belize.
Mm-hmm.
And Taj Mahal looked at me and said, you from Belize? I said, yeah. He said, I want to go to Belize to go record with Andy Palacio.
Ooh.
I told him, well, I produced Andy Palacio in the past. He told me, you're not leaving the studio until I get your number, because he wanted me and him to, hook up and
Work it out.
on
Mhm.
project. But that's what I'm saying. The thing is, it could be a guy who has no name. It could be a guy who's just started to break. It could be a person who's on top of the world. It's levels. And I always like working with the new fresh artists,
The
because
newbies,
you
so you
could
could train
create
your way.
and you shape that, and that becomes what people consider the next big thing.
Okay, I'm gonna butt in here, so you can just let the audience know the difference between Punta Rock and Punta, because there is a difference within the music that some people don't really know. They're like, okay, what is Punta Rock and what is Punta and what is Paranda? So we have difference in the music that coming from the same from the same genre of music within the culture. So Punta Rock have more, I think it's more drums or what, Will or Heidi, whichever one want to answer that question, because I just want to be clear with the two two styles of music.
I'll let Heidi answer that one.
Well,
Yeah.
from my this is my explanation of both.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I grew up with what we know as punta, which is more traditional, like
Right.
the drums where you have the segunda drum, which is the bigger drums, the primera drums, which is the smaller drums. And that was, and then you have the shaka or shaka,
It's
you know,
Shaka.
for
Mm-hmm.
English people it's shaka, for Belizean it's shaka.
Shaka. Mm-hmm.
And you have the females, and they all dancing around, while
The
those guys.
culture. Uh-huh. Straight culture.
Like when I was a kid, like the Jankuna, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
Christmas time, those Jankuna dancers, they would come to your gate, or your yard, and they would come and they dance in front of your yard, and then you would give them like a little tip.
Right.
That's what I understand punta to be
As
as a kid.
punta.
Right.
As punta. Straight
Traditional.
culture.
The
Traditional.
punta rock now is more like the electronic version of that.
Okay.
Punta rock for me is like the more modern version of the traditional. Because when I was in Belize, when we were Baniki Bandula, you had Turtle Shell was very popular, and they were on the rise as the new modern version of what punta. They were basically still acoustic, but they included guitars.
Okay.
Guitar was never part of punta when I was growing up, because it always was hand percussion and drums. And then it became when some incorporated started to take it to the next level and created a whole
Different.
generation
Okay.
of that. That's where I find punta rock becomes the new song or style that
We
we
need
know
some, especially adapted to the younger generation.
to the young generation. That's where the rock part comes in, meaning not rock and roll, but the punta rock, the dancer, the style, to
Right.
distinguish between the traditional and the modern.
Okay. Well, that's good enough to give you guys a little taste of the difference between the two. Okay. I know we don't have a lot of time, so a program like this where we truly understand the culture, the music, and the food, and all that stuff takes several several meetings, right? So right now, you guys, I'm gonna shout out our sponsors, Little Billy's Restaurant there in Inglewood. You guys, we're open today from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's Little Billy's Restaurant there in Inglewood. Also, Proby's Tax and Accounting. It's tax time. You all call Proby's Tax and Accounting. Just look it up. You guys type the name in, Proby's Tax and Accounting. And we also, for your transportation purposes, we have certain transportation, executive transportation, you guys. If you have your celebrity coming in town and want to visit the Belizean community, hey, come on, bring him over. We can ride in style, all right? Certain transportation. And of course, you guys know Miss Bev and Ty Johnson for those wonderful logos. Mr. Johnson, the producer here at Radio Belizemix. You guys, you see those logos and the anthem, you guys. I wake up like this. Hey, I wake up like this. If you don't have it in your head right now, it's I wake up like this. In English is I wake up like this, because every time we wake up, and if you're into this music, you're thinking about what's next. And I have some other questions for producer Mike right there of what's next. All right, but right now, Mr. Johnson, you have something special for us? Or let Miss Proby give a call in for us real quick, please.
All right, we're going to get some
Yes,
music
sir.
while we wait for her call, okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, we have Miss Elaine on the phone. Good morning, Miss Elaine.
Good morning. Good morning. How you
Good
guys
to
are
have you on board.
doing?
Good to have you on board. Talk to us.
All right. Awesomeness. Welcome, Mr. Michael Hyde. I have a couple of questions, or two if I will, but I like the fact that you do say that you work with all artists, especially the new artists. You like them, you don't care what level they are. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, how would you explain to some of these indie artists out there? There's so much music out in the world, and of course, you will make sure you do the best job no matter where they're going with the music, and you'll just bring it into the center. But how would you, or what would you suggest to some of the new artists out there in terms of getting their music out to the world? I'm looking at it from a perspective where it's not just the music. I believe, especially in the indie world, the artist has to be able to sell themselves. They don't have the huge budget, of course, with a lot of promotion and all that stuff out there. So, as an artist, would you suggest that they really got to market their image? They really got to sell their brand and really get that out into the world. So, what would your suggestion be to them?
The modern way of doing it. Branding is one of the big new way of marketing, which is your name, your brand, whatever you're trying to sell is what people buy into. And that's where you got to develop some type of something to get in the public's, or get the public's attention, and that can come from several. You could have not just your product, that like the CDs or the stream and all that, but also merchandising. Merchandising is a big part of the music business that help to make an artist get exposure in the world where they might not able to get. Like, I could be in New Zealand or Australia, and I could see something for a group or an artist that I might never heard of. But because I see a T-shirt or I see some type of memorabilia or something, those little things get people interest. And that's one way. And of course, getting on certain events, like basically getting on certain festivals or certain shows. You might have to probably do certain shows for free just to get in with the promoters, or let them get to hear what you sound like or see how you perform. And if they like you, that's opening a whole new door or new market for you. Like, there's one of the things that would help artists out of like our country, for example, and not just Belize, but across the board. But since one of the questions was, we wanted to see the Belizean artists start to get more exposure worldwide, globally. Because for many years I've been touring the world. There's 7 continents, as we know, right? I've done 6. The only one I haven't been is Antarctica. And every continent that I've been on, there is something to do with Jamaica and reggae. Bob Marley is known all the way to the bottom of the Pacific. We were traveling in country, like we're on the way to New Zealand or Australia, and there's a little country named Nauru. It's about 8 square miles. And it's just enough for you to just go around. And those places know Bob Marley. I've been to an island named Solomon Island, which is more like Aboriginal looking people. I've been to Papua New Guinea, and reggae is big in all these regions. And basically, personally, I didn't really hear a Belizean artist no way outside of maybe the US and Belize. And I'm not saying that they might not be, but I haven't able to hear any Belizean. But I could hear a reggaeton in Czech Republic. I was there with Big Mountain about 8 years ago. I could hear in Africa, where one of my daughters live in Africa. You know, like in the US, where the kids used to drive around and play rap music in their cars. In Africa, they drive around and play Bob Marley in their cars. So pretty much, if like the Belizean can network with the promoters in the European market. There's a festival that's called Rosatom. It's a yearly festival, and it's one of the biggest festivals in Europe. With those festivals, if you can get on something like that just to get there, they call that like an anchor date. You would get to Europe, and they would give you like maybe what $10,000, $15,000 for that show. You buy your plane ticket and you get to Europe, and when you get to Europe, and if you can network, you can pick up other dates to fill up your tour. So that way you're able to travel to within Europe itself. You don't need to pay all that money like you would pay from Belize or America to get there. You're already in Europe, and that's how you advance yourself. You get on these festivals, and you play for people that might never heard of you, and that's how you start to branch out and expand your horizon. Because that's how most of the reggae artists that I work with, Ziggy Marley, Big Mountain, this guy from Africa that I work with named Rocky Dawuni, as well. These guys, they use these little opportunities. I've been with him to Greenland. I've been with him to all over in different parts of Eastern Bloc of Europe. I've been to some places with Ziggy, but in these areas, once you're there, that's when you basically start branching out and network, because you might not able to do it from here, but you got to be there, and that's how you get connected.
Miss Proby, are you still there? Elaine? Is she still there?
You got cut off.
She on the phone. If it's not the computer, it's the phone. But anyhow, I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to get a little bit deeper than that, because within our Belizean community, Belizean artists, it seems like we are at a stuck. I'm going to say stuck, okay? They are at this point of like, help me, okay? There's so many artists that, wonderful music, great music.
She's back with us, Lorna.
Elaine?
Miss Proby?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
There's a delay going on. So
Turn your music down.
That's her listening in the background, yeah.
tell her to turn down the
Yeah, she heard. Yeah.
So Mike, that was excellent. I'm sure, Mike, that was excellent. I'm sure that a lot of our artists out there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you,
Yes.
Ms. Pope.
Yeah, Mike, that was excellent, and I'm sure that was great information for a lot of the new artists out there. A lot of, especially our Belizean artists, because that's what I'm most concerned about in terms of just getting out there to the world. But the other question too is the fact that, one, I know that they really need to be out there, like you said, shows and what have you, and present themselves and have the right attitude as well. Now, the other question: what about collaboration? And how creative can you get with collaboration? And I always go back, because I'm from the world of hip-hop with my daughter and Snoop, and I remember when Nas and them and Marley got together, and I thought, what a mix. But, of course, that turned out to be one of the biggest things. So what would you suggest to them in terms of collaborating?
That would be a good way to get exposed into a different market, like being... like the Belizean being already have that background where they can do. The good thing about Belizean artists, they're not just limited to just this or that. The Belizean artist can be, if he wants to go into a certain genre, Belizean already have that exposure or that capability or that talent to do. While you might have a guy who might prefer reggae, you might have a guy who might prefer punta. You then take that, and if you can connect with like a reggaeton artist, the punta and the reggaeton artist would be a good combination, because it's already that style. And like with Andy Palacio, What I did, I took one of his songs that I had produced and bring in a Jamaican artist to do like a DJ over on this stuff. That way you have the reggae guy and then the punta guy, and just slow the tracks down and make it more paranda instead of fast punta, or trying to adapt Andy to a reggae. Keep Andy's style, just bring in the guy, and you could do that with any Belizean artist. It's just a matter of what style, because in this industry, you have to have like a path, you have to have a sound, a direction, an identity. Normally, if you are reggae, then that's what they're going to market. You can't be doing reggae and doing soca and doing punta all in one. You could do it, but that's not really how they market you. Pretty much, if you're a punta artist, then you're going to be marketed that way. So if you can do a collab with a guy who basically you're going to bring in, that would be your style, and that guy just as a feature, or you could be a feature on his project. And that's one way to broaden into a demographic that you might not even been exposed to. Those are the different ways to look at it. I mean, there's multiple ways you could do it, but that would be like some of the suggestion that I would, like cross genres and try to merge and see what happens.
Good answer.
Proby?
Good question, Miss Proby. Is she gone
Yes, I'm
again?
here.
Um, so, Mike,
Excellent.
good question.
All right,
Good
yeah,
answer, you guys.
that's
Are you
excellent.
there, Miss
I'm
Proby?
sure that a lot of the artists can really use. I'm, yeah, I'm excellent. That's excellent. I am sure a lot of artists can use that information, Mike, because I've always been a little concerned as to why they don't collaborate, and I always thought that would really take some of the music over the top. So thank you for that, and I'll let you guys carry on with this awesome information.
Thank you, Ms.
so
Proby.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Proby. So, just to add a little bit on that, and I know some of the viewers are stating some facts in the feed, and I know that we are into. Do you think that Belizean artist is stuck or is hiding behind the reggae music? Is that why we are not making any progress with our identity as far as our music? They are actually screaming out for help into this arena. So when they look at you guys, these producer, even though it's not you guys' responsibility as far as how far they can get, but they're looking for help in the area of a producer that's been in this arena, and so they looking at, okay, so Mike has been around the world and back, and they mention it. It's like, why we not getting any help? I'm saying, just like they would be like, why can't we get no help from these folks, and we don't have any monies, and we don't have this, we don't have any ideas as far as where to push, and we want somebody to push us. But I know that's management. That's why they have management and stuff. But is there something that we're missing? Is there something we can have? Maybe a workshop. You can probably put off a workshop, get them these ideas so that they quit putting all these, I would say, nonsense out there on the web, making us look more worse than we are looking. Like we don't know what we're doing, or we don't have a clue of things. I mean, this is what you like. Music is what you like. Dance is my thing. Okay? And dancing from I just got out the womb, I guess. But so you put your all into your craft, but we are getting frustrated in a way where we're screaming out for help and we're blaming others. When you look at some of the venues that you perform, Mike, and the stuff that you've been, all the places you've been, when you look into our world here in Belize, what are you seeing? What is your vision? What comes to mind of things that can be possible that we need to approach? Because at this point, I think we need to just build up our community and build up ourselves a little bit better than, we keep going down, and we have so many talents.
Your answer, Mike?
And Belize does have way more talent than during my time because when I made trips, couple times when I go back to do projects in Belize with Frankie Reno and different projects that I was invited, I I came to the conclusion there's way more talent in Belize than back in the day. But that's in Belize. Outside of the borderline, nobody knows that. And
Mm-hmm.
it starts within the country itself, of course, because
Mm-hmm.
people have to nowadays you can't sit and wait for no one to do anything. And that's how I always approach things from back in the day. I've always had this concept that if you wait for something to fall in your lap, it's not gonna happen. So pretty much the beauty that Belize have now that we didn't have, they have access to social media, they have access to the World Wide Web,
Mm-hmm.
all these stuff that we have never even dreamed of. We have to do it the conventional way by performing. Someone see you, they like what they hear, they might invite you to come play, and then you get a trip out of Belize to New York or LA or wherever, and
Right.
that's about it. And you still play for Belizean. With the new medium, they have more options than we
Right.
did. But one
Right.
of the things that Belizean could improve is in their writing skill, like
Okay.
like songs. That's where it starts with, and I'll show you why. I play with a band for like over 20 years. I've been working with these guys, Big Mountain, that redid a song that was recorded in the 70s, and they did it for a movie, and it's "Ooh Baby I Love Your Way," and they sold
Right.
like 35 million copy of that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with them for I produce to them. I produce them for Warner Brothers, for BMG, Sony Records, over the years. And some of the songs are theirs, and some of them are like remake. But what it is, one song can take you
Of course.
in the world for a long, long time. And that's where the Belizean needs to develop their
The
craft.
writing part of it.
Writing skill needs to be developed, and they have to get better at their craft. If it's
Okay.
producing or writing or singing or playing, just try and get better at it, because the thing is that's your ticket to get outside of the
Outside the
borderline
box.
and
Mm-hmm.
get in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what Jamaicans and all the other artists were lucky, because they have that skill and they
You got
connect
that.
with the world.
Michael,
All right.
Michael, Michael, and Lorna, I want to interject here because
Yes.
I can relate to what Michael is saying, but there's also another aspect to that conversation where we're not touching on. The touching is the fact that I know for a fact now we have Belizeans who are producing good music. Lyrics are good, music is good, but the people who are supposed to be playing their music, they're not playing their music.
Okay, but as far as that, I'm gonna say this too. Okay, where is our source of the company in Belize? Who is looking for these guys' best interests? What do we have established? This can go deeper than deep, and we don't have that time because you have a video to play. And so it goes where they need that foundation, because we're building every little foundation. Like someone have a question, why can't we just come together, put money together to help these artists? But that is bigger than us. We could put some dollars together to help artists with their craft if we see that talent can go somewhere, but they need help. But what I still haven't reached where the source of the help is, and that is another factor. The many stations and the many things that we have that can help push the music so that people can understand that this is Belizean music. We don't need that, but that's another conversation, guys.
Yeah.
We don't want to go over too much, because I have a lot of questions that came in from individual that need some answers and is crying out for help in every which way. And if I can't even put my hand on the company that we have established in Belize that is working with such talent and is pushing them, besides what we've seen, in the past, but we're going to go into that, you guys. But there's so many people online that we want to give thanks to. They're saying hi to Mike. That
Yeah.
we only have a
Learn
lot of
that
time.
this is not going to be a 1 hour show. We're going to have to go a little bit over the hour because we have a video right now we have to play for Michael, and Michael,
Okay.
please explain this video because it has to do with Dell and the sensation. Am I
Can
right?
you guys hang in there with us?
Did
All
you
right.
get-
Yeah,
get it,
I have it right now ready. Explain it, Michael.
okay. So this video is a little actually the song is a song where you guys know it's Missionali that we had recorded, I would say back in the Punta Rock search days back in the day. When we got back from Belize, we realized that we have to drop the soca and all that and turn to the Belize stuff. So we went into the studio and did a whole album of Punta. And Missionali was one of those songs. But fast forward 30 years later, we decided to revisit it. And since Dell had died, as we know, the lead singer, Dale Smart, and Kenrick is now into the church, and the rest of the guys are doing what they're doing. Me and Phil still work as a team. So what we would do is take stuff from Dell and the Sensation catalog and try to bring it to the new medium, meaning the digital format, and bring it to the new generation that have never heard of them. And Missionali is one of those songs that I worked on back a little while back, but I just finished it this morning because I had to put like a little video together to kind of, so it's just not the song, but a little video with different
Okay.
scenes to create something of interest. And so that's what we're about to release right now.
All right.
But I just finished it this morning. I was running behind, so.
And for those of you who just joined us, we're live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, and Belizemix.com. This is I Wake Up Like This. You know, we only got tease on right now. No, let me tease on. I can't give you everything. No, we're not giving her everything right now. Not. Go again, Miss Lerner.
What you say, Will?
I said we can't give them everything right now. We have to just tease them a little bit. You understand?
Just a
Yes,
teaser.
man.
That
Just what
was very
tease.
good, Mike. It's a rush. It's a rush, but you got something done.
Yeah, I had to get it quick because time was
Woo.
against me.
Oh, it's really nice, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy that. Can you do a shout out with some folks online, and then we're gonna take it into a close with the final words from Mr. Hyde.
All right, we want to say good morning here. Good afternoon. It's already 9 minutes after 12 o'clock. So, folks like Maria Baruch, we're sending a shout out to Robert Drummer. So many folks who are saying big up Mr. Michael Hyde. I didn't want to start calling him because that's too much to mention. But we want to big them up all the same. We want to thank Trevor Martin for watching, for Roy Turner. We have Eddie Daniels on the feed right now on Facebook. Want to say good morning here to Elisa Skeen, Anthony, Paulina. That's my brother right there. And also to the folks on YouTube, Joan Bobbitt, Arrowish, Shirley Jex, and a whole lot more. Michael Hyde, man, you're the man of the hour. There you go. Go ahead,
Hi,
brother.
even brother Harry from
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
It's
Yeah.
Jean. Hi,
E-
Sister Rita.
Even
Rita May.
even so, dead people they watch you right now, Heidi.
Hi, Brother Rod. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Cousin Beryl. Hey, hi. All right, you guys. We want to thank each and every one of you guys. If we miss your name, we appreciate you. And like he said, he's not going to start calling names. Everyone on YouTube, you said, Mr. Johnson. And once again, you guys, don't forget Little Belize is open today. You guys get down there, get your breakfast. And I want me a stew fish, but I know don't know. I want me a stew fish, you guys. Fish time. Like I said, I wake up like this by Mr. Michael Wagner, the team song, of course. And there is a dance, the Valentine dance coming up February 10th. If you're having a late Valentine's, that's the dance that y'all want to go to, and that's with Miss Proby, Punta Ton Management, and all that crew that's having that dance on February 10th, the Valentine's Day dance. What else is happening? Little Belize Restaurant every Sunday with a Piece of Paradise band. You guys, a place to come, relax, enjoy, drink. Oh, I see some beautiful drinks there. I'm gonna have to start drinking, Mr. Johnson. Them drinks are getting too enticing. But I'm gonna still put some blue thing in my water. All right, so we're gonna take it to music producer Mr. Hyde. Do you have any thank yous, appreciations to anyone out there?
Well, I mean, I have to thank the audience for tuning in the first place, because it's just, without them, there's no me and you and all of us. And also, like there's a lot of musicians and people that I have to thank over the years that helped me to be what I am. People like Junior Crawford and Kenrick DeShield and Dickie Strange, and there's so many people, like some of them out of the Belizean community, like in the reggae world, like Fabian Cook is a guy that actually helped brought me into the world of reggae. Not the world of reggae, but into that scene where I was able to end up working with people like Eka Mouse, Wailing Souls, Barrington Levy. I mean, you know the list. There's so much to mention, Ziggy Marley's and all that.
Yellow man,
Wait,
yellow
is this-
man.
And then tonight I'm playing with Yellow Man.
Yellow Man is in town.
Yeah, I'm doing a concert tonight with Yellow Man and Big Youth and Fully Full with the band that used to be Peter Tosh Band. I'm playing with them tonight in Long Beach at the Gas Lamp. So who wants to come out for that concert? So it's going to be, I'm playing with both Peter Tosh Band, Big Youth, and then I go with a different band for the Yellow Man show. I already did 2 shows with him, and then this is the third, and then next week I continue with that. But yeah, so it's not just in the Belize community, but there's a lot of people in and out of the Belize community that help me to become and be where I'm at. And with my work, because I'm a person, I work a lot. And that also helps shape what you become. Because if you're not a person who willing to put in the time and the work, you could be great and no one would ever see or hear about you because you got to also put
Exactly.
in time. It's like talent is about 5%, and your attitude and your
Attitude.
work is another 95%. And there's a lot of talents, but
Mm-hmm.
people might never know about them because you got to put yourself in that position. But like I said, there's so many people to thank. Um, the list is very long, but those are the people that I would mention off the top of my head right now.
And Mike, I just want to put this out there. I know you keep mentioning the Belizean community and the reggae community, but in the R&B and souls and pop and all that, before he got back into his home, before we pulled him back over here, he was gone working with Shaka Khan and all those people. I mean, so many people, Pink, Jermaine Jackson, and
Yeah,
everyone
I've been,
else.
recording with Shaka Khan in the studio with Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin, the comedian. I used to work
Okay.
with
Oh,
him
I
for
love
like
it.
2 years. He had a band, and he was financing the Chaka Khan recording. So we were in the studio with him, and she came in one night, and we did 2 songs. Pink, I worked with on a song with her from a guy named Michael Franti and Spearhead, which is a artist himself.
Right. I love
And,
Pink.
and Jermaine Jackson, I used to work with them like on tour in Africa with some people that I worked with back in the 90s.
Right. So you see, the story goes on and on, guys. This is not just an hour and 15 minutes. We went over 15 minutes, so we're going to have to close out right about now, Michael. And we may have to have you in a workshop in something so that we can get the drift of the bottom of the what, the why, and the how, and why can't we do this? All right, we want to get out of that because I'm like tired of hearing the cries of the artists that got it. We are overlooking these artists that we can try to get into that international arena, but there's not enough of how can we do this? You know, the little peons like us putting our money together is not going to get it. It's not enough. All right. So
One quick thing. One way for Belizean, since we're on the topic of Belizean right now,
yes.
one way to help Belizean artists to evolve or even try to get the exposure is try to link with someone from a different outside of the Belize community at some capacity. You know why?
Yeah, even a
Because
collab.
sometimes that's the missing link for them to get into a market that they would have never probably get exposed. It's not
Absolutely.
just Belizean can't do everything for Belizean because we don't
Right.
have the problem
The
is we don't
resource.
have an industry per se in Belize as we know it, where it's like in Jamaica there's a reggae industry where they have stuff set up many
The
years back
resource.
in
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in America, of course, you know that's set up. In Europe, it's set up. Even Africa now with the Afrobeat, do like what the Afrobeat guys are doing. They're developing their craft. They try to get some little equipment where they can write and produce, and then they basically get it online. And that's how the Afrobeat
Okay.
is an explosion globally. But
Exactly.
networking is what the Belizean needs, and that can come and that can happen in many different ways. There's no one specific way to make it in this day and age, but that's
Okay.
how I was lucky. I networked with people who was in certain circles that brought me into that circle, and that's how I got my foot in, and then I
Mm-hmm.
start branch out, and that opened more doors. I just did some stuff for Paul McCartney recently with a through a guy engineer named Scientist, and I work on a project for Ringo Starr, the drummer from the Beatles. Both Paul McCartney and Ringo are from the Beatles. So
Okay.
those I never met those people by me walking in the street. I was brought in, and that's how I end up.
All right, so you see, there's a lot more that we need to discuss, guys. This music thing is bigger than us, as we know, but at some point we can try to get some more clear understanding of how we can move and try to move a little bit different from we used that we always move. You see what I'm saying? So We're gonna dig and dig until we get some clear black and white understanding. All right. So you guys, we got to get out of here because we don't want to go too much longer, and he got a couple of concert this evening. So any last word, Mr. Producer?
For me, Lorna, I'm grateful to be able to have a legend on our show. I'm completely grateful. Prior to today, I had a conversation with him on, was it on Thursday, Michael? Thursday?
Thursday.
And we were able to exchange information, and I felt good about that because I know we're at a place where we can continue to educate our own Belizean people as to what should and should not be done. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. And
Yep.
then eventually we're gonna work and having like a in-house thing where we are face to face and we're discussing this type of situation. Okay, so for one more thing, Mike, please, for the upcoming producers out there, what is your message to them? Just give them that guidance.
Well, the producers in this day and age and the young ones even coming up, they basically have a lot of stuff that already been set. So they can pull from so many different sources. In like, for example, the software department, they have like the Pro Tools, the Fruity Loops, the whatever medium they have.
I said we can't give them no advice. They're giving us.
To the best of their ability and learn how to use it to make better music, because the beauty is now what they are able to do. We had to pay thousands of dollars in a studio to get that done, but they have it right on their phone or their laptop.
Everything
So
is
it's just a matter of learning, and don't just get complacent and get too relaxed.
okay.
Put time into it and study and
The quality coming out of them
the
now.
quality. And that's what the problem is. It's not just having the tool, but improve on the level and the quality of the product that you put out. And that's where we're going to make the Belizean shine and at least be on the level.
Well, we want to shine and we want to be on the level. So we're going to continue this process here, you guys, and look out for face-to-face and close and personal conversation to detail and clear up each matters that we have and question, you guys. I think we kind of cover quite a few topics of things that we wanted to discuss today, you guys. So I'm gonna get to the bottom of closing out. And once again, like I said, I want to thank all the sponsors, the restaurant, Dear Little Belize Restaurant, karaoke every Friday with special DJs, you guys, every Friday. So I need to get that in. I want to thank everyone that support, share the flyer, my daughter Brianna, the technician, the beautician, the new attitude and makeup artist and all of that. You know, I thank you, girl. I thank you. Thank everyone that support the show. This is our 10th year, you guys. And guess what? We may have an in-person show like maybe the next 3 months, like maybe January, February, March. We're going to be in-house. Live audience, live performance. So look out for that information. That's the new thing. We're not going to do it every month, so it's every quarter. Okay?
Yeah.
We might be going into the studio.
I want to make sure on the reserve on the seat. Huh?
And if you don't have the I Wake Up Like This mug, you better get it because we have tea that day too. It's selling at Little Belize Restaurant, you guys. Get your I Wake Up Like This mug, and this is going to be your entry in. So, you know, get your mug. Little Belize Restaurant. I Wake Up Like This. All right. So, like I said, I thank everyone. Mr. Michael Wagner, the theme song. I don't want to leave anybody out. Mighty Iceberg. Hey, brother. How are you doing? DJ No Side. I got to thank these family members, Sister Laverne, Sister Verona, and all the crew there at Little Belize Restaurant. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are at a wrap. It's the 2024 episode 1 of I Wake Up Like This, you guys. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hyde, it has been on our hot seat. This is his second time, and it's been 4 years later. So thank you once again to come back. Ladies, gentlemen, world, Mr. Hyde is with us on
I'll wake up like
like
this.
Wake up like
Let's go, Heidi. Boss Fali, move, Heidi. Aye.
Tell Will Johnson what's on your mind. It's Radio Belizemix.